What's the crack, guys? Welcome back to my channel. In today's video I'm going to be talking about the disappointing reads of 2018. I had some. There were a couple of stinkers in the 80 books that I read in 2018. So I'm going to be talking you guys through the 10 books that were misses for me. There were 4 that I downright hated and 6 that I thought were just disappointing. So let's just get into them. Let's go. The first book that I hated was Star Wars from a Certain Point of View. This was released for the 40th anniversary of the release of Star Wars A New Hope, which was episode 4. It is a collection of 40 short stories written by various authors about various kind of hidden or off-camera scenes that they would like to have happened. You know, like there's one about the Cantina Band, there's one about Captain Antilles. They were shit. The first 2 stories were fine. The first one was about, I think it's Captain Antilles. That one was fine. That was interesting. The next one was okay. And then they just got progressively worse and worse and worse. With a short story collection, you're gonna have like some bummers. Fine. But some of them were downright atrocious. I'm like, have you even watched Star Wars? There was one about Aunt Beru that made her sound like a teenager that was just annoyed that she had to like look after her nephew. That is not Aunt Beru. You don't get that impression from Aunt Beru that she is just annoyed that she's had to stay in Tatooine to look after Luke. The one about the Cantina Band. Christ the Night. I didn't even know what that was even trying to say. It was just awful. I hated that book. Speaking of books that I absolutely hated for character assassinations, Star Trek Voyager Architects of Infinity by Kirsten Beyer. Now, I have been waiting for this book for about 2.5 years. Architects of Infinity was pushed back and back and back. I don't know how many new release dates I got for that book. This book was a complete and utter character assassination of Janeway and the Voyager crew. Janeway is having a fucking panic attack about the prospect of Chakotay possibly proposing. I'm sorry, what? Girl is only back from the dead. Yeah, she kind of dies and then Q brings her back to life. She's only been alive not that long and she's only kind of resumed her relationship with Chakotay. Yes. And she's freaking out that he might propose. When is Catherine Janeway ever freaked out? She's been depressed. She's been on the suicidal near enough. She's been self-destructive, but she's never been freaked out. Even Harry Kim did a complete regression to like the first season. He was just a complete and utter wimp in this book. Even the ones that are tertiary characters and they take an active role in one of the missions, if any Starfleet officer did that and acted like that in a heartbeat, it just sucked so much. What annoyed me the most about this was it was pushed back because she is one of the writers on Star Trek Discovery. I would have preferred to have this book deferred even longer and get a decent book instead of having her like kind of completely forget who she's writing and give me that tripe. It was just awful. I hated it. And I'm just going to move on. I could rant about that book for an entire video, so I'm going to move on. The next book that I hated was Ace of Shades by Amanda Foody. I know Haley and Bookland had a middling kind of opinion on it, and that your book nerd Zoe loved it. She gave that one 5 stars. I hated it. The first chapter was fine. I liked it. It had piqued my curiosity. Then it nosedived. The world building was not good. The characters were not good. The money system was ridiculously convoluted that I was like, how is this even currency? There was no way that that is a currency. It was just stupid. I could not imagine it. Even if I did, I was like, I just want Anne to die. And Anne, she is like supposed to have been like in training. Her mother had taught her all of these things throughout her life. She cried I don't know how many times in that book. How is this chick that is supposed to have been, you know, told by her mother all of these things and to be this strong and to be this intelligent, cry at the drop of a hat? Shit. I was so utterly disappointed in it that my disappointment actually like turned to hatred. And I'm so disappointed in it because I wanted to love it. It sounded amazing. It is marketed as Six of Crows meets House of the Rising Sun. No, it is not. Where Six of Crows had world building at its best, Ace of Shades was mediocre. It just was not there. It had a map. Nothing from that map seemed to match what she was writing, but in my opinion anyway. The fourth book that I hated was Lincoln and the Bardo by George Saunders. I did not get the concept of that book at all. Obviously, I liked the synopsis of the book when I read the back of it. It sounded interesting. Abraham Lincoln visits the body of his deceased son in the crypt every night, and that it's a conversation between Willie, his son, and other spirits in the Bardo, which is the Tibetan word for limbo. I did not get any of that from the words on the page, because it's kind of written in disjointed paragraphs and with like almost like a footnote or a caption at the bottom of it, like saying this person said this in this from this from this. I felt like I was trying to read a fucking essay. That's not what I bought. And people are singing its praises, and I'm like, what the fuck am I supposed to read here? What is this? And when I thought I was understanding what was actually happening, it just would just pull the rug from underneath me and I would be completely lost again. And even when it's supposed to be the conversations between Willie and these other people in this limbo, in this Bardo, they weren't even having conversations. It was just like random thoughts that people just seem to be having that are just like on this page. How did people read this? Like, am I thick? I think I might need like somebody to sit me down with that book and like explain it to me, because I just don't know. So moving on to the disappointments of the year, and the first disappointment was Heart of Iron by Ashley Poston. This is marketed as Anastasia in space. I was obsessed with the 20th Century Fox animated movie Anastasia. I can quote it from beginning to end. I know that movie. When I was reading Heart of Iron, there were scenes from that movie in it. I could just see those characters from that movie in this book. That's not what I wanted. I wanted the story of Anastasia Romanova in a book. Anastasia, not Anastasia. I kind of got that. Anna is pretty much Alexei in this situation where it's matriarchal. The girl becomes queen, but they all give birth to boys. Obviously, shit goes south. It wasn't anything spectacular. The characters didn't really do anything for me. Same with Anna and Anne from Ace of Shades. Like, she was supposed to have been like trained by these pirates. Like, she was raised by these pirates, so you would think that she would have been a bit more cutthroat, a bit more daring, a bit more brave. No. Cries at anything. I really wanted to like it. Disappointing. Not going to continue with the series. Next is Magana by Maria Devana Headley. Magonia, whatever. I felt like it was trying to be something that it wasn't. It didn't grasp me. It didn't really click with me. At the start, I was very much into it, and then it kind of got to the part where, like, the big reveal. Hey, she's not meant for the earth. She's actually supposed to be in the sky. The terminology did not work. Just the way that Headley tried to like describe things just didn't work for me. I was disappointed by it. Characters were just like plot was kind of like it was disappointing. After hearing so much about it from Haley and Bookland's channel, I really wanted to like it. She loves it. She talks about it quite a bit, and it's the most beautiful cover, but I was just like, thank you. Next is Magnus Chase and the Hammer of Thor. Now, I love Rick Riordan's books. I love the Percy Jackson books. I love the Heroes of Olympus series. But the thing about Magnus Chase and the Gods of Asgard is all of the Asgardians are dumbasses. They are stupid. They are juvenile. They are not what you would expect from a god or a Norse god for that matter. All Thor ever does is fart and lose things. He loses Mjolnir. Of course, Magnus Chase has to be the one to get it. That is not Thor. I hated the way Rick Riordan really just dumbs down the Asgardians in their talent, their ability, their intellect. So that's where it was very much a disappointment for me, because I was expecting a lot from the Asgardians, because previously you get the Greek gods, and even though they're very omnipresent and they do make an appearance every now and then, but they're not as stupid. Not a fan. Another disappointment was The Wicked Deep by Shay Earnshaw. This is marketed as Practical Magic meets Hocus Pocus. Did not see either of them in that book. A lot of people last year were really talking about The Wicked Deep, and I bought it and kind of saved it for around Halloween. I did not like it. I couldn't get into the characters. I couldn't get into the plot. I couldn't really understand the whole plot of it. I couldn't understand, why this town was just letting this shit happen. It didn't make sense. Another disappointment was Labyrinth Lost by Zoraida Cordova. I feel bad for not liking this because I think it's one of Leigh Bardugo's favorite book series, and I just could not get into it. The first chapter was amazing. Then it snowballed. Then it just went downhill. In the first chapter, I could really imagine everything. I could imagine what the character was going through. I could imagine how mysterious and how incredible this was going to be, how wonderful the magic system was going to be. It was another disappointment from then on in. It felt like sentences were disjointed, whereas in the first chapter they were quite succinct and flowing. Then it just felt like somebody else had taken over and had deleted sentences that would have been helpful. It's like Dances with Wolves. There's the theatrical version of it, and then there's the director's cut, which is an ass-numbing 3 hours long and spread over 2 DVDs. I first watched the director's cut. Then I saw it was on TV and watched it. Then I was ridiculously confused about what was actually happening because there was so much cut from it. I felt like that's what was happening with this book. I felt like something was missing here. Something was missing there that could have helped it. That could have really got me into it. There were just aspects of it that I liked and was really there for, and then there were parts of it where I was just like, no, it's just not for me. And lastly is An Absolutely Remarkable Thing by Hank Green. I didn't hate it. I was disappointed in it. I felt like there was something more that could have come from it. I hated April, but I was kind of supposed to. She was supposed to be the protagonist that we weren't supposed to like. She was supposed to be unlikable. I talked about it in my end of year wrap up where I did 4 months worth of books in the one video. It felt like he had just rolled the dice to figure out what was going to happen next. It honestly felt like my fan fiction. It honestly felt like fan fiction. It felt like there wasn't a good cohesion to it. It didn't feel like an arc. It felt like it was trying too hard. I really don't know. There was just something about it that was disappointing. It was enjoyable, definitely enjoyable, and Hank Green has a way of writing that I really enjoyed. I loved all of the pop culture references, but the plot just fell flat for me. All of these are just my personal opinions. It doesn't mean that they are bad books. It just meant that I did not like them. The only one that I could say is a bad book is Architects of Infinity, because that was shit. So there you have it, guys. Those are the disappointing reads of 2018 and the books that I absolutely hated. As I said, please don't take it personally if some of these are your favorite books. They just did not work for me because, reading is subjective. You could hate a book that I love and that's absolutely fine. I don't mind. Please feel free to hate on anything that I love. I've grown up with it because a lot of people hate Star Trek. I love Star Trek, and that's fine. Just remember that it's just an opinion. You do not have to have my opinion. That's the beauty of being human. That's the beauty of having an opinion. You don't have to have it. I'm not forcing it upon you. Give this video a thumbs up if you liked it. Subscribe if you haven't already, and click the bell icon so that you're notified when I upload a new video. Be sure to check out my favorites from 2018. I will have it linked in the card at the very end of this video and in the description bar down below. And I will see you in my next video. Bye!